Trust issues rarely begin with distrust itself. They often begin with an experience that taught the mind that trusting someone can lead to pain, betrayal, deception, abandonment, inconsistent affection, manipulation, broken promises, humiliation, or repeated disappointment can create an internal expectation that people may eventually hurt, deceive, or leave. Once this expectation becomes established, the mind begins protecting itself through vigilance. Instead of allowing relationships to develop naturally, the person may constantly search for contradictions, hidden motives, changes in behavior, or signs that something is wrong. A delayed response can feel suspicious. A change in someone's tone can seem meaningful. A small inconsistency can become evidence of a much larger deception. The person may ask for repeated reassurance, test people's loyalty, avoid emotional vulnerability, or withdraw whenever intimacy becomes serious. These behaviors can create temporary safety because distance reduces the possibility of being hurt, but the protection comes with a cost. Genuine intimacy requires uncertainty, and a person who demands complete certainty before trusting anyone may remain emotionally isolated. Trust issues can also develop without one dramatic betrayal. Growing up around unpredictable relationships, emotional instability, constant criticism, or broken promises can teach a child that other people's behavior is difficult to predict. The nervous system becomes accustomed to monitoring the environment for changes. In adulthood, that vigilance may continue even when the present relationship is relatively safe. The person is not necessarily responding only to what is happening now. They may also be responding to what their past taught them to expect. The deeper psychology of trust issues involves the difficulty of separating past danger from present reality. Once someone has been hurt, the mind naturally wants to prevent repetition. It creates rules based on previous experiences, such as never becoming too dependent, never believing promises completely, or always expecting people to leave. These rules can feel protective because they reduce vulnerability, yet they can also become self-reinforcing. The person expects betrayal, behaves defensively, creates emotional distance, receives less openness from others, and then interprets that distance as confirmation that people cannot be trusted. Healing begins when caution becomes discernment rather than suspicion. Trust does not require ignoring warning signs or believing everyone automatically. Healthy trust develops gradually through consistent behavior, honesty, accountability, and respect for boundaries. It also requires trusting yourself. A person may believe they cannot trust others because they fear that another betrayal would destroy them. But deeper security comes from knowing that even if someone disappoints you, you can recognize what happened, establish boundaries, leave when necessary, and recover. You cannot guarantee that nobody will ever deceive you. You can develop confidence that you will not abandon yourself when someone does. This distinction changes the psychology of trust. Instead of demanding certainty from others, you develop confidence in your own ability to respond to uncertainty. You can remain open without becoming naive. You can observe without constantly investigating. You can care without surrendering your boundaries. You can allow someone to earn trust rather than demanding proof of perfection. The deepest healing occurs when the past becomes a source of wisdom rather than a permanent prediction. What happened before deserves to be remembered, but it does not have to control every future relationship. Trust becomes healthier when it is built consciously, tested through time, and balanced with self-respect. The goal is not to become incapable of being hurt. It is to become secure enough to know that vulnerability carries risk, yet connection is still worth experiencing when that risk is met with discernment and healthy boundaries.